Okay, so your 2004 to 2009, I believe, Mazda RX8's Regenesis, however the hell you say it, motor has died on you, and now you're debating on whether you want to spend $3,000 to put a rebuild, core. Mazda quoted me $4,300 just for the core from Mazda, a factory core, and you're thinking about, hey, maybe I should swap something else in there. I personally have chosen to put a Nissan SR20 engine in. Definitely not one of the most established paths, but there's plenty of other options that I can rattle off my head as I go to the shop to work on my Mazda right now. First off is the two main established routes are putting a LS1 or a 2JZ GTE and whatever variation you can think of. The reason why I'm not going either of those routes, one, is just the pure money. I mean, if you're looking at a 2J, if you buy a Astra motor from Japan or you find some sort of deal, you're probably going to spend at least $2,500 to $3,000 on a decent motor that will probably have an automatic transmission with it. And you know, if you fucking can't drive stick, have at it. But if you want to have a fun car, the transmissions are almost like the most expensive part of it, because to get a legit Supra transmission like a V160 or whatever other variation of number they have, you're gonna spend some fucking bank. I think, like, I've seen some go for $6,000 for a good one. Then there's other options that I think came in the SC300 in Japan, or an IS300, Lexus IS300, like the W58 or the early Mark III Super transmissions, 154s, R154s. They're 5 speeds, and they're not cheap either. You're looking at a decent one, $1,500 to, whatever. And from what I've read, neither one of them really are good transmissions. The R154, it shifts like a truck, and then the W58 supposedly are 55, whichever one you can find, are supposedly they're garbage as far as taking any real power. Which, if you're going to have a Supra engine in a Mazda, you want to build some power. And the other problem is with the Supra engine is the factory will come with dual, twin turbo, and if you're going to build any power, you got to do standalone ECU single turbo conversion, which just adds more money. The cheapest CX Racing turbo kit you can get for single is like $1,200. ECU tuner, down the line, more money. And for what I was going to do as far as autocross, maybe a drift event, this fucking murder on power, and SR20 can do 300-400 horse wheel all day long. The LS swap, I mean, find a true aluminum LS engine, you're going to spend some coin. You can do the truck engines, which would be cast iron, which is just going to add way more weight. And then, you're back to the transmission game, finding a decent T56 or doing some sort of Asian R5, Chevy Colorado transmission or Solstice transmission. You're spending some money. I looked out and bought my SR20 swap from a running and driving car for $1,700 with intercooler, all the accessories. So I still had to buy, fuel delivery, all that crap. But the 2J, if I had a limited budget and I could do whatever I wanted, I'd do the 2J. There's a company, LS1 Rx8.com, that builds a kit for both, which is turnkey, and probably to get everything I don't think you have to cut, weld, nothing. It's just bolt in. It's around $1,800. Unlimited money, unlimited time, I'd probably go that way, but I got family and kid to feed. So let's see, anything else I can think of. There's probably some other weird swaps you can do. I've seen people talk about doing a a K20 swap, which I looked at, and that's making a front wheel drive engine go rear wheel drive. I mean, you're good luck. People put Camaro engines in there, the V6 Camaro engines. Supposedly they're like good for 300 horsepower out of the box. The way that the Mazda Rx8 is designed for having a 1.3 liter engine in it from the factory, it has a shit ton of room in there for whatever. I mean, if you can put a straight 6 2JZ in there, and granted it is tight, but it can be done. So anything I missed and you know more than me, feel free to blast me in the comments. Have a good day. Also, another option for the 2JZ, if you do that, you can get a Nissan CD009 transmission out of like a later, I think HR 350Z, HR being, they had VQ and then they had the HR 3.5s. The HR were like the 07 and later, I believe. G35 350Z engines. They can take some power from what I understand, and they're 6-speed, but you have to adapt the transmission to a Toyota block for the 2J, and transmission, you might find one for $700. If you can find one that has a shift fork instead of the hydraulic slave cylinder, which are garbage from what I understand. There's a couple companies I believe that do it, and whether you want to do some like eBay level crap for $500, or if you want to do like a legit new bell housing that adapts it, I think the Johnson, I believe that's the company, if I'm wrong, correct me, Johnson bell housing is like $2,000. So that's another option.